In the previous video, I gave you guys the rundown of what to do after hitting level 45. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to properly progress your stat and get stronger over time. Before we begin, I just want to let everyone know that I stream regularly on Twitch, so be sure to follow and subscribe over there for more gameplay. Let's start with the baseline. Your baseline should be that you should have a full level 45 soul weapon with a soul core. You should have around 600 AP very easily. The stat and the skill slot on these don't matter that much. You don't have to pay too many attention to it. It is nice to have good stat, but start with getting all 3 purple and all 3 blue at the bottom, and then hopefully a weapon with a soul core to boost up your attack power. You should be able to acquire most of these fairly easily. The leader accessories, you can do dungeons, and then the purple accessories can come from either crafting, transmute from your faction dailies, battleground, which is another really good source. The battleground sell you a weapon as well as a accessories design right here for 2000 battle point. You don't even really have to win. There's a daily where if you go in and play free games, you can get 600 points. If you do win, that's really good because you get another 400 to 500 points, and you also get 600 points for winning once a day. And if you win 2 matches over a week, you get another 1000 battle point. And just by doing hopefully like the daily quest and hopefully winning like once or twice, you can easily acquire both the weapon design and the accessories design. You do not need to have PvP build or skill at all. Everyone just kind of go in and have no clue what they're doing just for their dailies. So sometimes you win, sometimes you lose just based on chance. But over a week, you should be able to hopefully win twice and get enough for your designs very easily. The weapon is a little more RNG, so if you have spare currency to buy design from doing your faction daily and stuff like that, I would just keep crafting the weapon until you get a soul core. You could also choose to buy one off the auction house. Once again, the stat don't matter that much. We're mostly just focused on getting the baseline going. So right now on the auction house for a Lin Blade, one with a soul core, it's going around 600 and something like that. And sometimes these could actually have good stats. Everyone overvalue crit and crit rate, but I see this one have accuracy, which is like a usable stat. This one has piercing, which is a usable stat. And honestly, I think these are fine to start with for now. Once you have all of those set up, the next goal we're going to start working on is to start perfecting your social. Here we're going to try to look for high critical rate as well as critical damage. This is fairly easy to do. You just come here to spin the Profane Junction wheel or the Corridor wheel to get the social chest. And you just check if they have crit rate and crit damage. Oh, I just got another crit damage, crit rate. Now, these social do not need to be perfect. Just having one line of critical rate or critical damage is honestly good. Personally, I would go for a piece with high crit damage, followed by a piece with high crit rate. And then if you can get another additional stat like accuracy or piercing is also really good. Accuracy and piercing are not that important, but they're better than other stats like evasion or defense, so it's nice to have. But prioritize looking for high critical damage on your pieces, followed by high critical rate. So you can see what the maximum value they can roll is. When you hover a soul shield, there's some max on the right. So this one have max 91. This one have max like 79 for the critical damage and stuff like that. So closer to max is better for sure. Be careful to not fall into the trap of using pieces with low crit rate and crit damage. So for example, this one on my right have crit rate and crit damage, but they're really low. And when you add them up, which is the crit value, it is only like 50. Where on the left side, I have both piercing and crit damage, and the crit value is higher because you have 65 crit damage here. So I would actually not use this piece, even though it has both crit rate and crit damage. On the other hand, there are pieces like this one on the right that have crit rate and accuracies, and this one is not very different from the one on the left. Left one have 46 crit damage, and the one the right have 38 crit rate. So they're very similar in terms of crit value, but this one also additionally have accuracy. So I would choose this piece over, just because accuracy is a better and a more usable stat than defense on the right, and that should be giving you a lot of crit rate and crit damage in total combined. That's where majority of your crit is going to come from. You can see I have no other gear on right now, but I still have something like 800 crit damage and 600 crit rate, or the other way around. So it's really good. While you're spinning the wheel, you're also going to get some costume as well as Valor Stone chests. These are going to be really useful later. Valor Stone especially are used to extract your skill in and out, and the costume you can salvage these down into Moonwater Soul Badge Fragment. and then you can trade these fragments into a soul badge. You should definitely be looking for a soul badge that you can use right now. So for Blade Dancers, before you get Fatal Blade, that's going to be like your Lightning Flash. And once you do get like your big hitting skills, maybe from a blue book, then you can swap over to using the other skills. But the most important thing about soul badge is that you can actually enhance these, and they give stats. So these soul badge have 3 line. The third line is what we really care about because it's either crit rate or crit damage. Personally, just roll this until you hit either crit rate or crit damage. You can roll for a higher value, but I don't think it matters that much. It costs you a lot to roll. So just try to hit one of crit rate or crit damage. And after that, you can actually start upgrading your soul badge to +1 and then +2. The thing about the soul badge upgrade is that until you hit to +3, it's a 100% chance to upgrade and just give you more stats, right? So once you get to once you get to +3, it's an 80% chance to upgrade instead of a 100% chance. So you can try for this and then you can stop after, or you can just stop right here and just give you another extra little bit of critical rate. Once you get your baseline soul shield set up, the next step we're gonna do is to start getting better accessories. The leader accessories, in my opinion, are a little easier to get better one because they only have 1 line to roll, and these can easily come from the blue dungeons, and they're actually relatively cheap. The pop accessories are harder to roll because they have 2 line, but they do not need to be perfect. For example, this one, I have crit damage and HP. This one, I have crit damage and defense, and it's totally fine. You can just use accessories with mediocre stat right now. You do not have to perfect your accessories at this stage. In fact, my gloves right now have 1 line of unusable skills, which is just a block and 1 skill slot. That's totally fine. These accessories are really cheap to get, the one that are not perfect. So for example, if I look for like a earring, and I just search for crit rate, maybe like 2 slot, these are going for 130 and are pretty cheap. If we actually look at this one has crit rate and piercing and free slot, and it's only going for 200. The crit rate is not that high right now, or I would actually really consider getting this. With the ring, you don't have to go for the Siren ring. There is the Moon Water Guardian ring available as well. They have the exact same attack power, except you can't upgrade this. But this is going to be a pretty good temporary placeholder. If I search something like crit damage accuracy that have 2 stats, 450 to 500 is not too bad. Something like crit damage with accurate piercing. This one is 200 with free skill slot, 64 crit damage, and 35 piercing. Very cheap. You can sell random accessories pretty easily. Oh, I just sold something. What did I sell? Event. Yeah, you can sell like the purple profane weapon for like 50. You can sell like random accessories for like 50, even if they have no stat on it. This one, for example, I sold for 50. Has free slot and does it, like has crit defense, evasion has nothing, and then you can just buy the accessories that you need for like 200 to 300, so are pretty valuable. One of the most common mistakes I see a lot of people do right now is they're like, oh, my accessories are not perfect, I don't really want to put the skills on, have to extract it later. But it's totally worth it to just put the skills on right now, even on your temporary accessories, because it doesn't actually cost that much to extract. One of the things that most people get confused about is that in order to extract the skills, you need pages, but you can actually just use Valor Shown. This is a or, so you can either choose the pages or you can choose the Valor Shown. So make sure you just click the Valor Shown option, and because you're going to be getting a lot of Valor Shown from farming the wheel, it's perfectly fine to put these on the temporary accessories for now, because your main goal should be to get as strong as possible so you can start farming the better dungeon that drop even more loot to sell for higher or extract or stuff like that, specifically the Bay Bug dungeon. If you have been watching the video until here, other than subscribing, at this point, honestly, you should have enough stat to clear the Bay dungeon fairly easily. Your crit and crit damage should be around like 500-600. You should have around 600 attack power, and by practicing your rotation, making sure that you have really good DPS uptime, you should be able to clear the Bug dungeon with a good group. The Bug dungeon drops you a really good amount of green bug and is very quick to do. So your main goal here is to get a bunch of green pages and to start upgrading them into the blue pages. After your baseline setup, your next biggest upgrade is going to be skill book. Now, once again, you do not need the best book. You do not need the perfect book. You can just start getting books slowly, and each of them give a good quality of life upgrade that could be very meaningful to your damage. Take a look at this skill, for example. This ankle biter skills I changed it to the Fisher skills with the blue books, right? And this one actually generate me a lot of focus. For example, I'm going to burn my focus right now, and if I put this skills onto an enemy, it'll generate me a lot of focus over time. So the way I can use this skill right now is that I can just be doing my regular rotation, and then I could just drop the skills to generate focus. So the way I can use these skills is that once I run out of focus right here, instead of having to slowly attack to get my focus back, I can drop these skills, which get me a lot of focus. You see how my focus keep on regenerating for a long time, and I can keep pumping damage. And the fact that I can avoid having to like slowly attack to get my focus back is going to increase my DPS significantly. And a lot of people undervalue quality of life upgrade like this. This skills book on the auction house right now is actually only going for something like 700 Ancoin, and I think this is like a steal. People don't realize that these skills would dramatically increase its DPS because they give you more DPS uptime in general. Everyone is chasing for that like big damaging skills like Storm Cleave, and they're ignoring all the other blue skills that also have really nice quality of upgrade and give you a bunch of DPS. For example, I actually got the Phantom Grip book for 1,000. If I can show you what my purchase history is, I actually end up buying this book for 1,000, and this is an absolute steal. So be sure to also pay attention to the auctionals for blue books. This is going to be your biggest upgrade moving from now. Oh, by the way, for what it is worth, I've currently made 38,000 divine coin from the auctionals right now, and I'm gonna have a video in the future showing exactly what I sold and every single step I took to get to the point along my way, so be sure to subscribe and stay tuned. While you're trying to get those blue book in order by doing the bug bait dungeon, the next step you can take is to start upgrading your soul shield and weapon and stuff like that. Personally, I would start with soul shield. So with soul shield, there's something called the primers. The Moonwater shield base or even other shield base come from Soul Warden crafting. You do not have to craft these on your main. You can use a alt characters like I have to craft these on your alt, and then you can send them over mail to send it to your main. Once you got the Moonwater shield base, you can come to the exchange token and exchange for soul shield primers. We're particularly looking for the critical soul shield primers. There's 113 critical rate here, but there isn't critical damage. Also, that's the main reason why you value critical damage on soul shield higher than critical rate. But the way these work is that you can fuse these onto your soul shield. So personally, I would start with your soul shield that are really good. So stuff like this one that I got that have high crit damage as well as crit rate on it. And you can just manage equipment, evolve, and then put the primers on. The primer basically act as a third stat line. You can see that it add additional crit rate onto the maximum. And so therefore, this one end up having 130 critical rate now. The next step to get even more critical that you can do is to put Psychic in. You can put Augment Psychic in, and you can get these from side quests and stuff like that, and they will get you 2 random lines from critical rate to critical damage, or piercing and accuracy. Any of those 2 lines I think is fine. So for example, coming into here, looking at the alien old man Parker, you can see he give 2 of these social psychic, and this one is even purple gray. So these are really easy to get. You can just get them from doing a bunch of side quests, and they have the potential to give you another 200 critical damage, 47 crit rate, and stuff like that. So these are really good to do. These quests are really easy, really quick to do, and I'll just start slamming it onto the soul shield that you have pretty good on. Right here, let's see what we get. I want the purple one. Accuracy and health regen like a low roll. Now the thing with these augment, by the way, is that you can choose. So if you do low roll like my is that you can choose before or new. So I got piercing and crit damage here. Really good. So here I just got another 97 critical damage and 22 piercing. There's a Chinese map right now, and you can see there is the 蒸汽任务, which is the purple quest, and these one are going to be the one that give psychic. So these one give this one give soul shield, this one give weapon, accessories, soul shield, and accessories, and stuff like that. And of course the Cinderland one, and eventually the silver frost one. The same kind of go with your weapon and accessory. I would just start putting some psychic on them, especially if they are good. They don't need to be perfect, just usable is fine. This one I got another like 4 piercing and 41 critical damage. Totally fine as long as it let me beat the current gear or the current content. That's good enough. The idea is always that you just want to start getting good gear so that you can start farming the harder dungeons for even better gear. Do not wait for perfect gear before you start upgrading them. You notice that at this point, we haven't really awakened any of our accessories or gear yet. If you didn't know, you can evolve them to get basically even more stat and even more attack power. But personally, I think it's not really worth evolving. It costs you a lot of gold, and it's a RNG chance to evolve. I did evolve my weapon. I think the weapon is okay to evolve just because you get a good amount of attack power and stat increase. But it does cost you a lot of gold. And it costs you a lot of transformation stones. I actually think it's significantly better off to start selling these transformation stones to make money to buy other things. Right now I have 21, so this is going to be actually almost 1,000 end coin I can get. And once again, I can start using those other stuff to buy blue skill and stuff like that. And I think it's way more valuable to just sell your transformation stones. I think by following this guide until here, you should definitely be strong enough to tackle the end game content for Blade and Soul. You don't really need perfect gear, you don't really need to upgrade them, just getting the baseline and getting a little bit of upgrade, mostly the critical rate and critical damage should be good enough. So with that being said, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and if this video helped you out a little bit, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. As always, I do stream regularly over on Twitch. Are we live? Nope, not right now. I'm going to sleep. But with that being said, subscribe. I'll be live tomorrow or today when this video is out. Bye bye.